not going out anymore. It's coming in. You know, quiet beginnings are just, they're powerful. Sometimes they're sneaky. Sometimes you don't realize what's happening, and then once it does, it's here. But I also love loud beginnings. I love birth. You know, I love when babies scream and it's like this life just fills this room. And I love, like, you know, fireworks. When fireworks begin and it's a crash. Whole sky sparkles. And I'm excited because we're going to have both tonight. We've just had our quiet beginning. Let's get ready for our loud beginning. First, let me tell you what we're beginning. We are beginning tonight the Bloom Bar Garden Open Mic. That was pretty good. That was the beginning. We got both the silence and the sound. Let's try again. We are starting the Bloom Bars, the Garden Open Mic. Welcome to the Garden Open Mic, and it's every Monday. And for those of you who are new here, and how many are new, by the way? Let me not just assume. I saw so many faces here. I see 1, I see 2, I see 3 and 4. I see 4 new people at least. There are probably more. I can't see very well with this light. Welcome to the Bloom Bars Open Mic. And this has been how many years? 6 years in this beautiful location, in this beautiful space. And I'm not going to introduce you to all the amazing things that happen here. Instead, I'm going to have the folks who come and perform show it to you. Everyone who comes here remembers an important thing, and that is we are an how do you describe it? We are a family space all the time. John says it in a different way, but I say it's a family space at all times, which means no cussing, nothing that you wouldn't say in front of a 5-year-old child. Imagine there's a 5-year-old child sitting here in this seat, and she's so excited to hear what you have to bring, and you want to share it. Don't do anything that will offend her or her parents. It's also all ages, so feel free to have adult content. Just respect that child. I am dying to tell you about our feature, but instead of going into too many details, I'm going to just tell you he plays an unusual instrument that's only been on this earth since 1969. His own instrument is 10 years old. He has an unusual name. My friend says it sounds like a movie star. I think he looks like a movie star. His name sounds ancient, though. Begins with an ancient word, flint, flint, flint blade. Doesn't that sound like an ancient thing that someone made and we found, dug up out of the earth? Flint blade. Let's hear it for flint blade one more time. I asked him if at the very beginning of the Garden Open Mic, he could give us just a taste of what he has, and he said maybe. Would he mind now? Okay, before we have our open micers, this is unusual. We're going to have our feature. For just a minute, he's going to do his full performance later on. So actually I shouldn't say a minute. For just 3 minutes, we're going to have Flint Blade introduce himself through music.
Yes, thanks for having me all. I thought maybe I would explain the instrument a little bit in this little intro, and later on I can just keep to the music. So it's called a Chapman stick, named after its inventor, Emmett Chapman. A lot of people ask me if I invented it. I wish I could say yes. It's kind of like a bass and a guitar in one. And so rather than plucking and strumming the strings, we just tap them. So it's almost like playing a piano in that way, both hands. Thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone tonight.
Say thanks again to Flint Blade. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Now, we have a talented young woman in this audience. I just met her, what was that, 10, 20 minutes ago? And she told me, well, I do have to get out on time. I mean, I'm in high school. I was like, you're in high school? She is going to be our first open micer, so I want to make sure she's up on deck. And her name is Evelyn, and she's here with her accompanist. Right? His name is John, and they're the acoustic duo. How long do you think it's going to take you to get up to the stage?
2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to give them a clap. And while they're kind of working their way up to stage, let me tell you a couple things about Bloom Bars. Just a couple. Oh, never mind. I'm going to do those announcements afterwards. One song or 5 minutes. So. And tell me how you want to set up your mics. Okay. John's going to do it, actually. While John gets their mics and stuff together, let me remind you that our show tonight simply is at this very moment, which is kind of hard to conceive of, time and stuff. It's live streamed. So afterwards, I'm going to ask you to clap loud enough for the people who are not able to be here tonight but are listening and enjoying so that they can hear it. Another thing you should know about Bloom Bars is it's a community space. We'll talk more about that later.
Probably lower. Just a lower. Yeah, that works. On the banks of the river, where the willows hang down, and the wild birds are above, to the lies that you told. Now I lie in my bed and I see your sweet face. The past I remember, time cannot erase. The letters you wrote me are written in shame, and I know that your conscience still echoes my name. Now the nights are so long, old sorrow runs deep, and nothing is worse than a night without sleep. I walk out alone and look at the sky, too empty to see, too lonesome to cry. If the ladies were blackbirds, if the ladies were thrushes, I'd lie there for hours in the chilly cold marshes. If the ladies were squirrels with high bushy tails, I'd fill up my shotgun with rock salt nails. I'd fill up my shotgun with rock salt nails. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Evelyn and John from, let me see if I remember this, from New Mexico, right? Yes. Awesome. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Awesome. We have one more Bloom Bars. We have two more Bloom Bars open micers. And one more. Sorry, I'm having trouble reading this. Two. But first, let me give a couple of announcements. Remember I said earlier that this is a community space? Well, very much it is. It's driven by the love that the community has for it. Volunteers, we have a volunteer in the back. Volunteers run this space, volunteers contribute to this space, and the love of the community keeps it going. So if you are so inclined, sign up to volunteer. It's always welcomed. If you'd like to contribute in other ways, I know that they need a web developer still or a web security person still and other kind of wonderful things. So get in contact with John or put your name on the email list and make a note saying what you'd like to do. I also want to announce some of the amazing things that this space does for the community. And I'll use a word that you'll see on a T-shirt back there, and it's called Harambe. And you're like, what does Harambe mean? Because I didn't know what Harambe means. Am I even pronouncing it correctly? Say it again. Harambe. Who knows what Harambe is besides John? One other person. What does the Harambe mean? You know, it does have a connection to animals somehow, but that's not the connection that we're going to talk about. Harambe is this wonderful program for kids. It's a way for children between the ages of 0 and 7 to encounter music for the first time in a communal space, so they can meet other kids their age, they can share their laughter, and they can share their knowledge. And we think of like little kids as not as just being sponges and all we do is put things into them. But no, they need to share too. And Harambe is an opportunity for them. So again, community space. If you have young kids, know of young kids, want them to have that amazing experience, considering bringing them by. I can tell you my niece loved it so much, my sister had trouble getting her home. So that's what Harambe means. I see that there's somebody here named Dylan James. I know I'm looking at him. I can't really see him very much. I saw his hand. And he plays the acoustic guitar. And he can come up here if we clap loud enough to help him make it. Welcome, Dylan. A quick reminder to all the musicians. I know Dylan knows this already, but no covers. All original music because, well, don't make me go into trademark law. And tell me what I need to do with this, by the way.
I'm just gonna
You said? Okay.
I think there's
Mm-hmm. And I already mentioned no cussing, right? Yeah, okay, good.
try to keep it clean.
There we go.
Need this. No, I don't have the pickup, man. I guess you can
This one?
use the other. Yeah.
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 Okay, this is the one that's
Okay.
and this is for your guitar.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Okay. I'm Dylan James. Good to see everybody here tonight. It's been a little while since I've been here. I think it's been like 6 months. And yeah, it's always good to be here. And apparently I learned a new meaning to Harambe. So anyway, this is a song that I played a little while ago. I think probably a year ago. Here. Anyway, I will play you the song. Take your time, see where you're going while we take the road ahead. Seems like I believe in knowing what was said and what I did. All this mindless aggravation leading me to desperation. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me know. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me, you would let me. say the rest. Recall my least of knowing, late return to all this mess, all this mindless aggravation leading me to desperation. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me know. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me, you would let me. I'm leeching over while I dig away from this we call my least of knowing. Take your best of what was dead, all this mindless aggravation leading me to desperation. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me know. Well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone then, well, if you wanted someone, you would let me, you would let me. Thank you.
That was Dylan. Thank you so much. Thanks. Now, before I call our next open micer to the stage, invite the people outside to come on in. It's so nice in here. We have air conditioning and everything. But before I tell you about our poet who's coming up, let me tell you about a mystery poet event, a mystery poetry event. One part of it is not a mystery, and that's who's holding it. That's Gowrie. Gowrie is a host who has hosted here many times. People know this place, know Gowrie. She's awesome. She can spit out a on-the-fly haiku in just like less than a minute, and it'll be awesome and perfect. She has quite a talent. And she has invited a mystery poet, hugely famous. He will be here on Sunday. I'm looking at John to make sure that Sunday is indeed the day. It'll involve book signings, talks about poetry, talks about a poet's life. It's going to be pretty kind of cool, pretty kind of intense. And I'm not going to tell you too much about it because I'm going to encourage you to go on Facebook and like Bloom Bars. Let your friends know about Bloom Bars. Look at all the awesome things we have on Bloom Bars Facebook page. And, oh, thanks. Of course, I don't have my glasses, so this isn't. I see that his name is Oliver Baez Berndorf. Actually, I know that name. Oliver Baez Berndorf. And unfortunately, I can't see well enough to read all this great detail on this great phone. Thank you. But I can tell you that if Gowrie says he's good, he is good, and it's worth coming out. Go on our Facebook page. Learn all these amazing things. For instance, there is a fabulous movie tomorrow. What? Okay, for those who are listening at home, you just heard dead silence because that was my shock to find out that we do not have AC. Does anyone in here feel like it's that hot in here? Maybe it's just love that's making it feel comfortable, but it turns out our AC is broken. It has been broken. I'm in shock, and it's making me invent words. Yeah, it costs $6,000 to fix an AC these days, and who has $6,000 to replace it? We have to replace it. Who has $6,000? Who has $6,000? I'll tell you who has. The community does. So we're a community space. Contribute. Consider encouraging your friends to contribute. Go on our Facebook page, and you'll find a little bar that you can click, a GoFundMe bar, and you can send it to your friends. Get the word out. We need AC. We're lucky tonight.
It'll be winter soon.
Winter's coming. Not soon enough. It is Washington, D.C. Well, we have a poet coming to the stage, and I love spoken word. I'm dying to hear him. Andrew, I can't see you, so I know you're out there, though. Is that you?
Yep.
Come on up. Let's welcome Andrew to the stage. Hey, how's the mic? Is this good for you, though?
Yeah, I think so. Oh. Yeah. It is a great space. So I have two poems for you that I'm going to read tonight. One is OPP. I'm going to start with that one. And then I actually have a piece that I wrote like 4 hours ago that I'm going to read. Oh, did I just curse? Okay, sorry. Oof. Yeah, no cursing. I don't think so. If I'll bleep myself out if I see it. The first poem that I want to share, it's a Mary Oliver piece. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Mary Oliver. She's awesome. This poem, I've been thinking about it a lot because I've had a lot of ideas like swimming around in my head lately, and they're just kind of like sitting as ideas, and I never sort of sit down and actually do anything with them. So it was really like a poem about like calling yourself to action. It's also, I'm thinking about it a lot because we have a really important election coming up, and a lot of people are thinking like, oh, I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna do something about it, but it doesn't like really count unless you actually go out and vote. So I'll read it. It's kind of short. It's called What I Have Learned So Far, and it's by Mary Oliver. Meditation is old and honorable. So why should I not sit every morning of my life on the hillside looking into the shining world? Because properly attended to, delight as well as havoc is suggestion. Can one be passionate about the just, the ideal, the sublime, and the holy, and yet commit to no labor in its cause? I don't think so. All summations have a beginning. All effect has a story. All kindness begins with the sown seed. Thought buds towards radiance. The gospel of light is the crossroads of indolence or action. Be ignited or be gone. Thanks. Love it. If you guys haven't read a lot of Mary Oliver, I really suggest that you do. That's just one of her few many treats. So she's rockin'. She's a rock star. So look her up. This next one is one that I wrote 4 hours ago. So just a warning, it's a little rough. Have any of you guys ever put together some IKEA furniture? You raise your hands. It's pretty grueling experience. I actually just had my first encounter with this not too long ago, and it took me by surprise. And so when I was sitting down earlier today to write a poem, I was thinking about this, and a poem came out. So this poem is called, well, I have a few names. So it's called Building a Bed Frame, or Relationship Tenacity, or How to Listen to Your Furniture. When I first unpack you You are all long and heavy parts. You are all dark and smooth wood. I am already in love with the prospect of our many nights together. I have an idea about how this will go. I'll put you together gently, your legs locking into your waist with ease. This whole time I will be thinking that we were made to sleep together. The whole time I will be thinking how easy it will be for me to cruise through my dreams in you, my midnight vessel. But as I place a round peg into one of your legs, you grumble. When I move your headboard close to me, your backboard curses as it hits the floor. Every time we move together, you get irritated. You're not listening to me, you say. This is not how to put me together, you argue. I'm wondering now about my frame of mind. Ready to run. Anxious that maybe we aren't the right fit. That maybe dreaming of a queen was too much. But my heart was too empty for a full, and single was out of the question. So here I am, sitting surrounded by your skeleton, beautiful femurs of mahogany and tiny valves of plastic. We are laid out, broken, bare, waiting to be put back together. And I have no idea what to do next. I try everything. Escaping through the front door, which you have held firmly shut. I tried forcing two pieces together that you assured me did not go until you almost snap. Clearly, bed frame, this is not working. But here you are, naked in front of me, and you're not going anywhere. The only thing left to do is to breathe and listen carefully to the communication echoing between your bones. I start to pay attention to the way you click and hum in my hands. Reluctantly, you reveal your tiny metal fingers that were hiding under the rug. I stop relentlessly hammering your arms to your shoulder when clearly the instructions showed a picture of a Phillips head. You tell me in reserved annoyance how to lay the slats over your spine. And now, with tested trust, how to place two fingers over your metal heart piece to feel for when the screws are just in place. When you are finally all assembled, I fall back into your arms and we both sigh in relief, listening to the creaks and coos of our imperfect union. You are just happy to be whole, happy to have a home. Certainly, you and I were not made for each other, but tonight we made each other. And thinking of that as I lay on top of you, I am also thinking of a girl somewhere out there and her half-assembled heart that I returned much too soon. Thank you.
Andrew, thank you. That was really awesome. Oh my goodness. I'm going to feel that for a little bit. Oh, 1 second. You know, right, our feature is ready. Our feature is going to be coming up here in just a second. But I do have an announcement out of, my duty as the host. I got an announcement. And it's an announcement about something that's going on tomorrow. I don't know where you guys are going to be at 7 o'clock tomorrow, but you might want to consider being here. And the reason for that is Cuba. Everybody I know right now is either going to Iceland or Cuba. Everyone who travels, it's like, now that we can, it's really exciting. Cuba, it's just a beautiful word. It's mysterious. It's exciting. It's dangerous. People remember the Cuban Missile Crisis. People think about Cuban music and Cuban dance and old cars. But, Cuba is also a place and time in history. And Bloom Bars tomorrow is going to have a movie about Cuba. And it's going to be about the recent history of Cuba from the eyes of people who lived it. It's about the Cuban Revolution from people living on the ground. And it's called Sugar Curtain. And so it's going to be at 7 o'clock. It'll be wildly interesting because how can it be about Cuba and not be? And think about coming out. Well, we have more music here, and Flint Blade kindly is going to come and bring it to us. Shall we welcome him back to the stage? Flint Blade. While he gets his stuff together, which is going to take only a minute or two, let me tell you that I found some of his stuff up on SoundCloud, and I played it for my coworker and for my supervisor, and he left 2 very happy women in my office. They tried to make it here. They said they would come or would try. I think they're going to have to come another time. But now they think that we always have that kind of great music here. We kind of do. We just don't always have Flint. So I'm so excited. I told them that his instrument was made out of flint. And they believed me.
Yes, hello. Thanks for having me once again here at Bloom Bars. Hey. And thanks y'all for being here to support, because that's what it's really all about. Making connections. Whoa, I'm like in space. That's what it feels like up here. The lights, all I can see is lights. I hear voices. I don't know where they are. Whoa. Hey, y'all. Thanks a lot, y'all. Hey. So, most of the time, by the way, I'm on tour. I don't know if this has been stated, but I'm from Florida. And it's been about a month and a half on the road. I got a couple weeks to go. It's been quite a journey, culminating in today, pushing my friend down the National Mall in a shopping cart. This really happened. It's a little side story. Yeah, we were walking, Julia and I were walking down the National Mall to go see the dinosaurs at the museum, and for some reason we had this idea that it would be fun to push, one down in a shopping cart. We're like, why would there be any shopping carts here? There's no shopping, and there's no homeless people either pushing shopping carts. Lo and behold, we walk out of the dinosaur museum, and there is a shopping cart in the grass at the National Mall. So we took it. Julia hopped in, and we were turning heads, making all kinds of racket. It was quite a clattering fiasco. It was fun. Nobody got hurt. Anyway. Yeah, so a highlight of this crazy tour that I'm on. Went all the way up the East Coast to the Northeast, such as Maine and Vermont and Connecticut. Yesterday morning I was in Richmond, and today I'm in DC. So I drove, about 3 hours out of the way just to come to Bloom Bars and play on stage for a little while. And I'm glad I did, because it's so awesome here. And every time I've been here, it's been Gowrie hosting, and I love her on-the-spot haiku, so I decided to come up with a haiku. I came up with it a few minutes ago, so maybe not as on-the-spot as she would deliver, but a haiku. Garden open mic. Little boat for a sound booth. Bloom Bars is what's up. Yeah. A 5-7-5 count on those syllables. Yeah. So usually, if I play a longer show and I have a lot of time to set up, I have like a whole wall of effects pedals in front of me. But tonight I decided to kind of keep it minimal and no looping device. Sometimes I loop my beatbox and have psychedelic effects flying around, but tonight I'm just gonna stick to those songs where it's a little more acoustic. Yeah. So in that on that note, this next song is called Closer to the Source. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to the sun. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thanks a lot. This next one is called Cicadas. Thanks a lot, y'all. Every time I've come here since the first time I stepped in and signed up on the open mic, I've always gotten really nervous being in the crowd, and I think it's just because it's such a supportive environment. Everyone's very attentive, and the level of art is always high caliber. So it's a great place. And even today, it's just the same. But when I'm on stage, in my element, I feel right at home. So I think I'm gonna play this little song. This is kind of a weird one to me because it's so wordy. I'm more of an instrumental background, but I do have some lyrics. And somehow I got the idea that it's about the Chapman stick. Yes. About Emmett Chapman, how he came up with this instrument. There's something about the Chapman stick, especially in the nation's capital. I start to feel really just super American, and I love everything that our country is about. Freedom. that's probably the biggest thing I like about this country is, that freedom is kind of maybe at least a goal or theme. It's a theme, right? Yes, we have this theme of freedom. So, Emmett Chapman, before he came up with his stick, he was like devising all kinds of variations on the guitar, and before the stick he had the freedom guitar. No joke. He was in California in 1969 and he had this freedom guitar, and that's when he started tapping. And from there he said, let me make an instrument just for tapping. So, a little, preparation. This song is called Tapping Strings and Letting Freedom Ring. It started late one night in the land of America, that brave and noble pioneer country. One man was turning guitars into other types of things. Emmett Chapman's hands were truly free. He picked up his freedom guitar and he tilted it just so. And then he started tapping on the strings. It felt just like a thunder strike of lightning to the mind, with the sound you hear when the freedom bell rings. It's only once in a very great long while that something truly new does come to be. Right here in this great land way back in 1969, the Chapman stick was made for you and me. This music of the stick would then resound across the land, turning people on from sea to shining sea. This brave new instrument just might unite the world in peace, bestowing every single person liberty to play the bass and the treble strings at once is all we need to bring us all together in harmony. The stick was made with love, and the stick is made with love today. The stick is played with love, take it from me. Anyone can play the stick, just you try and see. It can play in every single key. From 69 until today and through the end of time, the Chapman stick is here for you and me. When first I heard the stick, I knew not what to think. Was I in some enchanted magic fairyland? When I saw it with my eyes, I dare not even blink. Then soon enough I came to realize, if there's one thing that I'm good at, it's tapping on these strings, playing bass lines with chords and melody. It's what I love to do, and it's what I choose to do. And my mama always told me I could do anything, but don't join the war. Someone must bring the stick out into the mainstream. Shucks, anyone just might as well be me. I'll do it, yes I can. I dedicate these hands to tapping strings and letting freedom ring. That's right. The land of the free and the home of the brave. That's where these strings will ring. I don't know how much time I have left, but maybe I'll play one or two more. All right, I'm gonna play another original song because those are the rules here. And this one is called Wildflowers on the Hillside. I would be playing these songs even if those weren't the rules, okay? It's just what feels right. Thanks a lot, y'all. Here we are, the time is now. What more could we ever need? What more could there ever be? In the garden, there's enough to go around. Hey, I just want to say that I have CDs available tonight, and they're free if you want to listen. So, shameless plug for free music. I see Ellen edging ever closer to the stage. Okay. What do you guys think? You want to hear one more? All right. I just want to say that all the music and art that has been displayed tonight, I have enjoyed it thoroughly. And this is a great place. Arts and culture live at the Bloom Bars. So, long live Bloom Bars, y'all. All right, we have one more open micer who has signed up. This next song is dedicated to her. And Lauren, Laura. Hey, listen, y'all, there's an open micer. She'll tell you what her real name is. But first, you know, I just wanted to touch on the all originals vibe, and you know, I think it's awesome to hear original music, and we come around and support that, and that's a beautiful thing. What some of you might not know, as Ellen mentioned, the trademark issue, is that if you have an establishment where there's cover songs being played, technically you're supposed to like pay some royalties to some company who's like maybe gonna give some back to the artist. I don't know how they're keeping track of what songs are being played, but that's how it goes. And literally these companies will like hassle venues and tell them you can't play any covers here. And so that's why a lot of places choose to have that rule of no covers. But usually songs in the public domain are exempt. And so I'm a natural born rule breaker, and I'm just gonna break the rules, and I'm gonna play a song that ain't gonna step on nobody's trademarks. Try and stop me. This is what's known as long hair music. Flint Blade, 2016. Sue me. Hey y'all. I know I probably pissed somebody off in here, but look, they didn't let me grow my hair long in Catholic school either, and I did it anyway. So like, you know, there's a connection. I don't know, but that was a Mozart piece. Anyway, y'all. Thanks a lot for having me. I'm sure I'll never get booked again because I just ruined everything. And Laura, no covers.
Thank you all. That was Flint Blade, you know? Come on. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I say you're welcome back. And, you know, I'm an attorney. I know these things, right? You're welcome back. You're welcome.